as a professional.
Yeah, and that amateur background of his, it shows itself in the ring because he's so patient and so poised. He's one of these guys, he doesn't seem like he just has 9 or 10 fights. He fights like a guy with 20 or 30 pro bouts.
And you see that he's a southpaw, jabbing with that right hand. Since both their trunks look to be white on the screen, even though Erislandy Lara is actually kind of silverish, he has the gold trim, and the blue trim is Grady Brewer. Brewer, as we mentioned, is 13 years older, but notice the speed of the southpaw Lara. 300 amateur fights, 9-0 with 5 knockouts as a professional.
It's not just his amateur background that has Boxing Insiders really excited about him. He's a very good athlete. He has a lot of just natural ability in the ring.
Round 1, this is scheduled for 10, 154 pounds. We're going to see a lot more of Lara. Grady Brewer, by the way, we don't want to play him down. He's had a pretty good run since '06. He's undefeated in his last 7 fights, so he's running pretty good right now, in spite of the fact he's 39 years of age. But look at the hand speed of Erislandy. He's just a terrific. He's got all the tools. Uppercut that time. Snaps the head back of Grady.
It's not just the hand speed, it's the accuracy of Lara's punches.
Grady was the Season 2 contender winner. Turned pro in October of '99, ran up 3 first-round KO wins to begin his career. He's fought some good guys. He gets stopped by Kelly Pavlik. He gets stopped by, actually he didn't get stopped by Jermaine Taylor or Peter Manfredo. He went the distance with him. And those were when Taylor was really in his prime. He lost an IBA Intercontinental title shot in '03 to Carlos Borges, an excellent Mexican fighter. But as I mentioned, since '06, he's undefeated in his last 7 fights.
And in his last fight, he scored a second-round knockout of a prospect who was 18-0 as a pro, but was also a 2-time Olympian from Nigeria, a guy with like 300 amateur fights. So he's been there and he's done that, and he's especially experienced in fighting young, undefeated prospects. He's fought a lot of them. As you noted, Jermaine Taylor was one of them, and so was Kelly Pavlik. Though they beat him, and they look good doing so, and they went on to become the middleweight champion of the world. But there's a lot of undefeated young prospects who have lost to Grady Brewer. So he's what you call a gatekeeper.
Another former champ, Stevie Forbes, lost a split decision to Brewer as well. So that's another one. That was in '06. And his last 2 fights, Brewer's actually had knockout wins. Lara to the right of your screen. Boy, he doesn't rush it. Any closing seconds of this, the first round. All right, here we go, round number 2. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here with Doug Fisher. You're watching Fox Sports Net. Glad that you can be with us from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Grady Brewer with the blue trim on his white trunks. To the right of your screen, to the left of your screen, the southpaw. Erislandy Lara, who we've talked so much about, undefeated kid, 26 years of age, who's a wonderful, wonderful boxer. Big smile as referee Tony Weeks separates the 2 fighters.
You'll see Lara likes to operate from a distance. He likes to do everything at arm's length. And I think he had a very good first round. I scored that first round for him because he found a hole for his straight left. Although I will say Brewer came on at the very last, probably last half minute of the first round.
But I agree with you, Doug. I don't think he did enough towards the end. Brewer just unleashed about 7 or 8 punches, but all taken on the arms and blocked by the youngster from Cuba. Living in Miami, by the way, is Lara. Lara facing you, Brewer with the blue trim on his white trunks, as I said. In the black shoes is Lara. When they both have what look to be white trunks on the screen, I'll keep pointing that out for you. Lara digs deep with that left hand downstairs. Remember, for the southpaw, that's his power shot. He lets fly with the power shot that sails up over the ahead of Grady Brewer. This is a good fight for him to face somebody with this kind of experience as a professional.
Yeah, because Grady Brewer isn't just a strong fighter who stands in front of his opponent or walks forward. He likes to move, and he likes to punch at odd angles. So he's going to give Lara some looks that some of his previous foes either didn't know better to do or just didn't have the experience or talent to do. And you see Brewer, when he punches, he likes to sort of step to either side and let that punch go.
This kid Lara had 7 fights last year, 3 first-round knockouts. We're already past that. Turned pro in July of '08 with a 4-round decision over Ivan Maslov in Turkey. And he fought his next fight in Germany and had another first-round KO over Denis Alexavas. And he fought all the rest of his fights here in the United States.
He was in against, good, solid opponents. Some of them were considered, lower-level prospects in their own right. But he's never been in there with anyone who's as experienced and as cagey as Grady Brewer.
And he's taking his time. He's not rushing this. With all the first-round knockouts with young professional fighters, sometimes they rush it. But with all of the international experience that he's had as an amateur, he doesn't need to rush it. He's not doing that right now.
He never rushes anything.
Coming up to the closing seconds of round number 2, another good round for Lara.
In the second round, Brewer let his hands go in spots. But you see here, all of those punches are being blocked by the gloves and the forearms of Erislandy Lara.
And of course, the aggressiveness is good, but in boxing scoring, it's effective aggressiveness. And as Doug said, everything blocked on the forearms and the gloves, pretty much. This is round 3, the Colonel Bob Schroeder with Doug Fisher. You're watching Fox Sports Net. Glad that you can be with us. We're at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in a beautiful venue called The Joint here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The principals to the left of your screen, Erislandy Lara, the undefeated 9-0 fighter from Guantanamo in Cuba. Now to the right of your screen, to the left of your screen, Season 2 Contenders winner, Grady Brewer, now to the right of your screen.
Both these guys have seen every conceivable style. Lara in the amateurs, Grady Brewer during his long professional career.
Grady's trying to do the best he can now to land something that actually hits on a spot where he can hurt this guy. Lara, as you mentioned, likes to fight from the outside, but in this fight, in that last round, he'll let Brewer come in occasionally. And, I think that if a guy's going to come in on you, got to start throwing like that. Brady tried to close the gap a little bit, and Lara went right after him that time.
If there's a criticism of Lara, it's that he doesn't have an inside game. When a fighter does get beyond that long jab of his, he just covers up when they punch. He waits for them to stop punching, and then he lets go. I think most people would agree that a seasoned professional fighter, they can fight on the outside and the inside. They can defend and throw punches while they're defending. But this is a learning experience for Lara. This is why his management puts him in with an experienced fighter like Grady Brewer.
But when you see him in boxing right now, from what I've seen so far, and you've seen him before, Doug, I mean, guys like Sergio Martinez from Argentina, Corey Spinks, Kermit Citron, and the other guys, Yuri Foreman, Joaquim Alcine. Does he look to you like he's ready for these guys right now?
Somebody like Joaquim Alcine, an orthodox fighter who is aggressive and comes forward, I would say he's ready for that type of contender. But the other guys you mentioned are southpaws, just like he is. They are tall, they are rangy, they have hand speed that's comparable to his. There's a guy, Sergey Zinzaruk. He's sort of like a mirror image of Erislandy Lara. I haven't seen him in against that kind of style, not in the professional ranks. Who knows?
Grady's having a decent round, by the way, here in round number 3.
Stop.
Grady's done enough, landed enough to win this round, but he's had a better round here than he has in the first couple of rounds. And here comes the bell to end round number 3. All right, here we go, round 4 at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino at the room called The Joint. Erislandy Lara, the undefeated Cuban fighter. To the left of your screen and with the blue trim, Grady Brewer. Notice over there, Master Toddy of great Muay Thai fame working the corner of Lara. So he's got a good one in that corner with him.
He's got a star-studded corner.
Yes, he has. Brewer has Ed Halligan and Mike Zapata working with him. I mention these guys because they work so hard getting these fighters ready. This is round 4.
I thought Brewer had a pretty decent third round, Colonel.
I thought he did enough to win the round myself, and you know,
just enough.
Yeah.
He basically outworked Lara. Lara kind of took the round off.
Lara posturing now and Grady working hard. Here, Tony Weeks has to separate the two. Again, round 4 at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. Glad that you can be with us in Fox Sports Net. Two really good fighters. Of course, our main event is the WBA and IBA light heavyweight championship, a rematch between Gabriel Campillo and Bebut Shumanov. That's coming up after this one.
Lara seems a little more aggressive in this round. Maybe his corner let him know that he sort of took the third round off. He really puts a lot into that straight left.
Yeah, he does. Brewer doing a decent job moving around, though, trying to get to the body on the inside. You're right about Lara. If there is a weakness on the inside, he has a tendency to catch. But when you throw the left hand like that with you know, determination, it's good. Here he is on the inside, gets a hand up, waiting for Tony Weeks to separate him. Tony says, go ahead, your hands are free. A bit of a low blow, and Tony says, keep the hands up to Lara. Not intentional, but nonetheless, it's a foul, whether it's intentional or not.
Now, Brewer's been able to neutralize the offense just a little bit of Lara by moving. Nice right cross landed by Brewer.
Real good right hand, and Brewer's on the assault here now, and right back comes Lara. Well, Lara tries to stop him after he gets rocked with a shot. And Brewer has got, I think, some more confidence here. He's pawing right now, but he ought to sit down on his punch and cut loose with that right hand. He caught Lara very, very well with that shot. Lara came back almost as if he got an adrenaline flow from being hit. Here he is down back, almost slapping with the left hand that time, though.
Well, Lara is showing us that he has the instincts of a fighter. He's just not a classy boxer. He's somebody who will fight back when somebody gets through and hurts him.
That time when he threw his left hand, he didn't get into it at all. He wasn't in position to throw it, and when you throw like that, there's no power. There's the uppercut. Smacks him back. Oh, big shot that time and rocked him.
Yeah.
Series of uppercuts, and there's the bell, ending the 4th round with plenty of excitement at the bell. We're going to keep it right here as we go to Lara's corner. How about that? I think Brewer gets that round.
Yeah, I think he wins that round, Colonel, just because of those 2 right crosses that got through. Both of them took effect. You know, the first one sort of backed Lara off for a minute. The one right before the bell, it appeared to rock him.
Por eso cada vez que tú tiras cualquier cosa, tú tienes que estar preparado que él te va a tirar para atrás.
He's setting you up to go to your right. Don't do that.
Here's
you
Grady.
got to keep your right outside hitting your foot. Okay? Move to your left. Shoot that jab. The hook come right behind you. It's there. It's there.
Settle down and breathe.
It's there. It's there. It's there. He's scared. He shook now. He shook. I'm telling you, you got him. But don't stay in front of him. Don't stay in front of him.
Here we see the chopping right hands from Grady Brewer. This was actually a very good exchange from both fighters. Lara got his licks in that round, but that right hand right there near the end of the round, that won the round for Brewer on my scorecard, Colonel.
I agree with you. Here we go, round 5. Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas. You're watching Sportsnet. Glad that you can be with us. Fox Sportsnet, I should say.
We've got a fight. I have an even contest through 4 rounds. The first 2 rounds for Lara, rounds 3 and 4 for Brewer.
Now let's see if Lara can show that he has the class of a, really a professional fighter by being able to bounce back, or can Brewer keep the pressure on him? If I were Brewer, I wouldn't be waiting right now. I'd try to keep that pressure right on him, but he's waiting and powering with the jab. He needs to step up, drive off that back foot, and cut loose. Instead, Lara lets go with his left hand and catches Brewer and bounces his head back.
I think Brewer likes to back up a little bit and lead his opponents into counter punches. If he hurts him with the counter punch, then he'll jump on him.
Well, Doug, he's got the perfect opponent then, because Lara, he comes in, and sometimes he's not throwing when he closes the gap. And now look at, he just sits right here. Brewer needs to come downstairs and try to get underneath the elbow. Instead, Lara does what I wanted Brewer to do, and he comes with the uppercut and nails him to the body. So that's good for Lara.
I agree that Brewer should try to rough Lara up when he's in close, because whenever he gets within arm's reach, Lara goes into that sort of earmuff defense. He just covers his face with his gloves, and he's not punching back. It's an opportunity for Brewer to go to the body with both hands, or even to sort of push him back on his heels.
And then, of course, his uppercut, which was effective a couple of rounds ago, some more of those with the right hand, and I mean really get into it and let it fly. Now, right now, he's trying to maneuver him. Remember, Grady's been around a long time. He's had more knockouts than Lara's had fights. 15 to be exact. That's professional fights. Brewer battling back here now. This round with a minute to go, a little bit more than a minute to go, is up for grabs still. Either guy can still take this round.
And among those 15 knockouts that you spoke of, Colonel, are some undefeated prospects who were highly touted amateurs that they fought Brewer at the wrong time in their career.
Tell you one thing, Brewer's in great shape. This man's 39 years of age, and he's fought a lot of really good fighters. But he hasn't taken a lot of punishment in his career.
No, he hasn't. Now, he doesn't have the body of a 39-year-old, and he's not fighting like a 39-year-old. So, to this point, age is not a factor in this contest.
Nobody been down. I see a little bit of blood, but I don't know whether it's a clash of heads or just what. I think it may be just an abrasion to the right side now. I guess it's all cleared up, bro. I thought I saw some blood on the forehead of Grady Brewer. This is a very close round and difficult round to score. Closing seconds now of the fifth round, and a fairly even fifth round for both guys. This is round 6 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The principals, Erislandy Lara to the left of your screen, and with the blue trim and his white trunks. Now switching around to his left is Grady Brewer. And that last round, while it was fairly even, I thought Lara might have eked it out at the end and landing more heavy blows. This is round number 6, scheduled for 10. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan. With me is Doug Fisher. We got two terrific fighters at different ends of their career. Grady Brewer at age 39 and 13 years younger is the undefeated Erislandy Lara, the Cuban with so many amateur fights up around 300. And a great athlete all around, but he's got problems with this guy.
He has problems, but he seems to be figuring out the puzzle of Grady Brewer. And I gave the last round to Lara as well, Colonel. I thought he stepped up the pressure over the second half of the bout, and he's putting pressure on Brewer in this first half of round 6.
Yeah, Brewer almost let him off the hook after 3 and 4, which I thought he had his best rounds of the fight. I don't like that left hand that he throws kind of with his knuckles up in the air. I wish he'd turn it over more when he throws that left hand. He'd have a lot more power, but those are things that his people will work with him on as he progresses in his professional career.
Now, you mentioned blood in the last round. I see blood pouring from the nose of Grady Brewer.
Time has been called now. Let's see if Tony says that was a headbutt or if that was a
there was a headbutt. Yeah, there's a cut over the left eye of Brewer. It seems to be bleeding. I mean, the blood's coming down into the eye. It's like right on the eyelid.
A situation here now, this is an official fight because it's gone 4 complete rounds, so it would go to the scorecards unless the fight has to be stopped because of the cut, and in that case it would be a technical knockout victory for Lara if it's fight is stopped because of the cut.
The Nevada State Athletic Commission has ruled it a accidental headbutt. So if the fight is stopped because of that eye, since we've gone past 4 rounds, we will go to the scorecards.
Different from if it was off a punch, and in that case then it would be a technical knockout. So you got to make sure you have the word accidental in there. As Doug said, it would go to the scorecards as opposed to just being a TKO. But it's a bad cut.
Yes.
Up above that left eye.
Yeah, punch or head. It's unfortunate for Brewer.
Yeah, he was fighting a decent fight, and Lara turned it up a notch or two in the 5th round, and certainly turned it up here in the 6th. It often happens when you have the southpaw and the right-handed fighter. They both lunge at the same time, and their heads come together.
The cut has seemed to light a fire under Brewer. There's a sense of urgency now, and he is letting his hands go.
Well, he needs to because there's a big sense of urgency. We're going to keep it right here in between rounds so that we can check on that cut. A tough kid. This is a tough sport. Closing seconds now of the 6th round. Hard shot. Didn't quite catch him flush on the chin. Got a bit of the chest. The bell ends the 6th round. The big story in the 6th round is the cut. But that's Lara's round no matter what.
I think it was a good round for Lara just because he was aggressive.
Well, as we watch them work on the cut of Grady Brewer, see how bad it is. It's a good shot for you folks.
Don't worry about that.
It's in a horrible place.
It's a bad spot and it's deep and it's right to the bone.
I don't know how long he can last with a cut like that, Colonel.
Well, if he pops him on top of it again, he can't last too much longer.
It's going to be the doctor's decision on this. It's a bad cut. If it continues to bleed and open up, I'm calling time and letting the doctor in, or I'm just going to stop the fight. Okay?
Let's see if we can see what caused this cut. Now there is a straight left that looked like it landed
But there's
on the left side of the face, but it was after the heads clashed that the blood really started pouring.
All right, here we go, round number 7 with a bad cut above that left eye. You may have heard Tony Weeks, the referee, say, if it starts to bleed very bad again, I'm going to call a doctor in, and if it's really bad, I'll stop the fight. And if he stops the fight, remember, it will go to the scorecards because of the accidental headbutt. And the replay clearly showed it was accidental, nothing intentional, even close to intentional.
So because the first 4 rounds of this fight were so competitive, I have it even on my scorecard after 4 rounds. You would think that these guys want to put this round in the bank. They want to win this round and make sure they're ahead of their opponent if the fight is stopped in the middle of this round or immediately after this round.
Now, Brewer needs to do the same thing. There's a sense of urgency for him. He's got to win this round. You think that maybe because of the cut he'd back up and run around a bit, but what he needs to do is just forget about the cut and, you know, put the ears back and let fly with shots and try to grab this round because, you know, our scoring is unofficial. We don't know how the judges have it.
That's right.
We assume that they're close to us, but the official judges are Adelaide Bird, C.J. Ross, and Paul Smith, all very, very good officials here in the State of Nevada Athletic Commission.
And when Brewer steps to Lara and stays in the pocket and lets his hands go, he puts Lara in a defensive shell.
Yeah, he does, and we're going to have to watch that in the career of Lara and see how he develops as he moves up in class. And again, this is a big move up in class, and he's performing. I still don't like Doug. If you're seeing the same way, he almost slaps sometimes with the left hand.
Yeah.
I wish he'd turn that hand over. And somebody's got to work with him on that.
He gets good power throwing the punches the way they are. If he was turning them over, he would be a sharper puncher and a more damaging puncher.
See, right now, all he has to do is really just try to get that right jab right on top of that eye of Brewer. But he's, you know, fighters aren't made that way. They want to fight. They're determined guys. And oh, there he was. That was the left hand right on top of the eye, and that's better than what I was suggesting.
Yeah, he's inning with his left on that left eye of Grady Brewer.
Oh man, and then he just hit him with the right hand on top of it too.
Well, you would think the right hook is the right kind of punch to take advantage of that cut eyelid.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? I haven't seen a lot of right hooks from Lara. He's starting to let him go in this round though.
And again, Brewer had a lot of success with his uppercut, but we haven't seen that in a round or 2. It's there right now for him, especially if he can move to his right and time it when Lara misses that wild right hand of his. You see the closing seconds of round number 7. This is a good round for Erislandy Lara. Round 8 at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Fox Sportsnet, we've got a terrific fight here. And Erislandy Lara out in front unofficially in this fight. Grady Brewer was coming back in the 3rd and 4th rounds, and Lara started getting real serious and turned things around, and then was that headbutt, accidental headbutt in the 6th round, which kind of turned the fight as a desperation sort of fight for Grady Brewer. Brewer whacks him with that, well, gets whacked, I should say, with that right hand. Again, that's that hook that you've been looking for with the right hand, and it is a hook for the southpaw Lara.
Yeah, I'm looking for a more complete game from Erislandy Lara. In his first 9 bouts, he's been able to handle all of his opposition with just that southpaw jab and that straight left. But as he steps up his competition to French contenders like Brewer and on to contenders, he's going to need more of an offensive arsenal, I believe.
Reaches downstairs that time. But again, we point out that Brewer's a very crafty fighter.
Cagey. I think he's the definition of cagey.
Guy's in his 39th professional fight as opposed to a kid in his 9th professional fight. And the amateur business is a different business than the professional business. No matter what anybody says, it's great training for a young fighter from Cuba to have had all of those. And let's face it, when you're fighting in Cuba, you are a professional fighter when you're fighting as an amateur.
And he was the captain of the Cuban amateur squad. So that tells you right there, he was the best of the best. But I have to say kudos to Brewer's corner. It appears that they have controlled the flow of blood from that cut over his left eye.
Yeah, the doctor came in between rounds, and only hockey players and fighters would continue with a cut like that.
I should say kudos to Grady Brewer. He's still in here. He's not. He could have said, "Hey, this cut is too bad. It's getting in my eye. I'm not able to box effectively." But he's still in there. He's still trying to make something happen.
Doug, I've been calling fights for over 40 years, and it never ceases to amaze me, as many as I've seen over the years, how tough these guys are and how tough the sport is, and I just constantly admire it.
They are courageous athletes.
That time he whacked him in the back of the head, and Tony Weeks right on top of it. There's 2 states you don't get a second chance of whacking somebody behind the head. That's the state of Nevada and the state of Florida. They will end a fight in a hurry. You whack somebody in the back of the head.
That's good, because that's a very damaging punch. And they call it rabbit punching, but it's you know, it's a serious punch.
By the way, Brewer's having a decent round here in round number 8. I don't know if he's done enough to win the round, because Lara's landed some pretty good blows too, but it's a more even round than were 5, 6, and 7. Closing seconds now of the 8th round, and a pretty good fight. This is round 9 at the Joint at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bob Sheridan with Doug Fisher. You're watching Fox Sports Net. Our principals, Erislandy Lara with the gold trim on his white trunks, and with the blue to the right of your screen on his white trunks, Grady Brewer. Brewer cut by the left eye in the eyelid back in the 6th round. A really tough, hard fight for both guys. We've got Lara unofficially out in front. Doug, you gave Lara the last round. It was too close to call for me, so you've got him slightly more in front than I have, but it's academic right now unless Brewer can really do something seriously, maybe knock this guy down. And I don't know if he's got the power at this stage to be able to do it.
I have Lara in command of the fight right now, but Brewer is stubborn enough to be in the fight, and I thought the last round was competitive. I scored it for Lara because I thought he landed the cleaner, harder blows over the first half of that round.
I couldn't argue with any of that. He's certainly landing the cleaner, harder blows in this, the 9th round, too. I don't know if Grady's in the survival mode. Back in the 4th and the 3rd round, he landed some real good shots, and if anybody's legs were slightly stung at the time, you know, when you get hit and you feel that stinging sensation in your shoulder, your legs, when you get hit on the button, it was Lara that was hit by the shots by Brewer. At no time has Lara really stung Brewer, and the cut makes a big difference too, although not on the score sheets, but it's a distraction for Brewer. He's fought through that. Certainly tough, certainly experienced.
Brewer puts his body at an angle. He tucks his chin pretty well. The hardest punches that Lara has landed has been that straight left to his belly. He hasn't landed a really hard, clean punch to the chin.
Right-handed fighter. Brewer ducks underneath the stretched out right hand of Erislandy Lara.
You know, it was a right hand from Brewer that buzzed or momentarily hurt Lara in the 4th round. I would like to see some right hands from Brewer because time's running out. We're in the last 2 rounds now.
I think you're right, Doug. I mean, I wanted to in the last round load up some shots. You know, people talking, should he stay away with a cut? No, he's got to load up shots and try to win some rounds, and he is out of time. He's got to win this round, and he's not winning it with about 30 seconds to go. Lara's showing me the experience of a kid going 10 rounds here now. And he's doing a nice job of it. He's made some mistakes. There's room for improvement, but there's a lot of ability here. One thing that I would work on with him, if I were Master Toddy and the people in his corner, is I'd really work on him learning to throw that left hand, his power shot with more power, setting down on the punch. Closing seconds now of the night. All right, this is the 10th and final round. Erislandy, Lara, and Grady, Brewer. Brewer was cut back in the 6th round. Nobody's been down. Lara was a little bit shaken back in the 3rd or 4th round. Other than that, Lara just has outboxed Brewer for most of the fight. Brewer needs to finish very, very strong if he can pull this one out. I've got it unofficially, Lara about 4 points ahead with just this round to go, and Doug has it slightly more in favor of Lara. The official judges, Adelaide Bird, C.J. Ross, and Paul Smith.
Now, I think the story of this fight is that from the outside, the bout was controlled by Erislandy Lara. When Brewer can get in close like he is now, he can out-hustle him, but it's hard for Brewer to land scoring blows because of the defensive shell that Lara goes into.
After the cut too, Doug, he just didn't open up like he should have, Grady Brewer. You know, a guy with his kind of experience, he's fought game, he's fighting hard now in this round too. But you know, look at this, just that does no good at all. You got to bring the hands down and try to blast his body. Decent left hook to the body that time, but it's too late for that. He's got to load up some right hands and try to get lucky and stop this guy. The only way that I can see him winning the fight is stopping him, knocking him down a couple of times.
I agree. After 9 rounds, I have Lara up 7 rounds to 2. Grady Brewer is he's still being choosy about his punches in the 10th and final round, and I agree with you. I think he needs to throw caution to the wind and just let both hands go. Try to do as much physical damage as possible.
He's fighting just like a guy doing what he is doing, and that's trying to survive. Where's the right hand? You got to let it fly. He comes to the uppercut again. Get himself set up. Let the right hand go, Grady. And he doesn't. He waits for Lara. You can't counter punch now. There's only a minute left in this fight. Lara reaches with the left hand, and then he knows how to tie him up again. Tony Weeks has done a nice job in this fight, and he always does. He's a great referee. Nice hard shot. That drops Brewer. Well, if Brewer had any shot, he doesn't now. It's up to 4 and 5. He takes the standing 8 count, and that puts a very definitive finish to this fight. There can be no doubt now that Brewer has been knocked down. Great shot, took him to the canvas, and he wants to finish with a knockout. He's trying to get room now, and Grady's hanging on here in round 10.
Colonel, I didn't see where that punch landed. Was it to the body or was it to the head?
I couldn't tell either because his hands were in between me and his body. But
I like what he's doing now.
Yeah,
oh,
that's it, it's all over.
Forced a stoppage.
Great job by Lara finishing strong. Tony knew he was cut. He knew with the knockdown that he couldn't finish. And a very smart decision by referee Tony Weeks. Stop the fight. The guy can't win. Well, that's a terrific night for Ismael Salas and Master Toddy and Claudio Lamonte and their fighter, Erislandy Lara. So with some of the things that we pointed out, he certainly finished strong. He did what he had to do in the end, and he wins in a 10th round TKO. A terrific victory for him against a very seasoned professional fighter in Grady Brewer. I like what I saw with Lara, and he can develop into I think, a terrific fighter and be competitive at this 154-pound division.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe in a year or so, the division's going to belong to him. You know, there's room for improvement, which we talked about throughout the 10 rounds of this bout. But I tell you what, when he scored the knockdown, he behaved the way a fighter is supposed to behave. He jumped on him.
Now we get to see exactly what happened with the knockdown.
Yeah, I want to see this because I missed it during live action. Oh, it was an uppercut, a left uppercut. Still kind of hard to tell where it landed, if it was to the chest, the sternum, or to the chin. Maybe another angle will let us know for sure.
And you see what I mean? And this will show us here.
And perfect distance.
It looked like it hit him on the chin. Tony
Yeah.
walked in front of it. But the bodies were in between when I saw it live, and I was like you, well, there's a body shot. Here we go.
He almost did it like a wound up like a bolo punch. It landed, I think it landed on the chin. And I'll tell you what, the manner in which Brewer dropped and the way his